Welcome to another fun-filled show today. It's your boy, Free Blanche. And today's show is entitled The Seeds of MLK. Now, we all know those that follow this content, those that follow Shadow Jackson, those that follow Teach 'em Chuck, those that follow Keisha King, those that follow the cast of Cutting Through the Culture. We all know that MLK was a fraud. The biggest indictment on MLK is that he did not believe in the resurrection of Jesus. He did not believe in the virgin birth. He did not believe that he didn't really believe in Christ as in his divinity. And so you have to question, if MLK didn't believe these things that are foundations of being a Christian, then why was he a pastor? To me, that's the most, aside from the communism, Marxism, all that stuff, aside from the drug use, the white women, aside from all of that, why would MLK want to be a pastor if he didn't believe in Christ? You have to admit, anybody that's a skeptic, that is deceiving. That's like a person saying that I'm a Muslim, but I don't believe in Allah or Muhammad. It's the equivalent. It is the equivalent to somebody saying I'm Hindu, but I don't believe in all the gods, the elephant god, the monkey god, label all them arms. Like, it's the equivalent. So my question is, why would MLK not believe in Christ, the foundation of Christianity, literally, our salvation, but want to be a pastor? What was his goal? What was his intent? And so these are the questions that Black folks hate to answer because it requires character. It requires honesty. It requires certain things that, Black culture lacks, for lack of a better word. And you already know we talk about the spirits of Blackness. Hold on one second. And the spirits of Blackness are spirit of pride, spirit of entitlement, spirit of oppression, spirit of envy and jealousy, spirit of offense. And I got this from A Dream Life. And I added a spirit of lying, a spirit of non-competition. But again, this is where we are. And so I'm going to be responding to a video that Chad sent me of a guy, and the title of the video is, I Don't Like Shadow Jackson. I just want to jump into it. What's up, Soin Finite? What's up, Mika? What's up, LaChad? What's up, Manuel? What's up, Eduardo? What's up, Kenya? What's up, Zoom 7K? What's up, y'all? I just want to jump into it. Yeah, Jarrell, I'm live on X too. If y'all want to go to X, I'm trying to get my X followers up. Y'all can hop on X. I'm live on there too. But let me get started though. So I'm gonna just go to where he starts playing Shadow's videos.
Black woman on the other side, she's like, "There ain't no problem. There ain't no problem, brother." Black women be resting in a moment like this, in a moment we're at war, in a moment where the country is at stake, in a moment where Blackness is at the most at risk. Should Black women be resting right now? And I was actually preparing for a fight with the Nat Ministry because they have commercialized radical Black rest. So you go to the Nat Ministry's Instagram, or you go to the web.
So we already know he's obligatory. We already know that he's already propagandized. We already know that he is, he's already, anytime somebody starts out by saying blackness is at stake and all of this, just all of this stuff because Trump got reelected is just insane. Trump was president before, and black folks were not complaining about any of the stuff they're complaining about now. When Trump was president before, black folk were not complaining about the economy, about the border, about none of it. They were complaining about Trump and his tweets. And I said this before, America was so good that all black folks had to complain about was Trump's tweets, and most of those tweets were false. Because, you could have just followed Trump on Twitter to verify the tweets, and most black folks didn't do that. But let me try to skip forward a little bit of me.
Website, everything is about rest. There is no conversation about action. And so, my enemy is not the tools of blackness and how we are trying to recover from whiteness and how we are trying to seek liberation. My fight is still with the individuals who implement the tools of whiteness. Well, when in the conversations that I'm having, I think she might be part of the 8%. A rarity, if you will. And in this conversation, this DM conversation, she says to me, shouldn't we be able to disagree and be in community? Shouldn't y'all be able to have a conversation and find middle ground? Shouldn't y'all be able to talk and exchange ideas? And I want to leave that up to, I want to ask that question to you, lady of the house, to the Wake and Bake with B1 Nights. I'm going to play a couple of videos. I'm going to try as much as possible to submit them without comment. And then after we play these 2 videos, I want you to answer.
So, now we already know that black people lie. So he just made a statement. I'm going to try to submit them without comment. That's a lie. He's not going. Of course he's not. And again, this is a spirit of pride because a lot of black people think they know something and they don't. Black folks don't even consider they've even been programmed and propagandized since birth. They don't even realize it. They don't even realize they've been force-fed a narrative programming their entire life. And they actually believe that their thoughts are their own thoughts. We've all been programmed to a certain extent. We've all been influenced to a certain extent. But if you know better, you should do better. The problem is black folks never get to the know better stage because they believe that what they know is the truth. And most oftentimes it is not. But let's continue.
Answer the question, sweetheart. Should I be in conversation with him? Should we try to find a middle ground? Do we have to agree with this young man, or do we have to be in disagreement and community with this young man?
Disagreement and in community?
Yes. Because I disagree with the Nat ministry, but we could be in community.
Yeah.
Like there is a conversation about activism that I could have with the Nat ministry that would find a middle ground that would still call black folks human. I'm not sure if when I play these videos and we talking about having a common ground, I'm not sure the common ground is black humanity. Go ahead and play the first video. So yeah, she was turning up the light. Huh?
Where can niggas be?
No.
Was it? Oh, My New Enemy?
Yes.
Okay.
But at Cover Martin Luther King, rarely do we ask the question, why is he so lionized? What did he actually do? Especially if you understand the backdrop of the way Black culture was trending prior to his popularization, along with other so-called minority groups in this country. That is to say, it was on an upward trajectory. So what is it that he brought to the table? Well, what he brought to the table was the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which was an unconstitutional piece of legislation, specifically Titles 2 and 7, which expanded the federal government's role in small businesses. Now, this is tried and true Marxist ideology, because what the Marxists believe is that the government should own the means of production. So why would you want to give the federal government that much of a fixture into your company? I should have the right to decide who I want to fire, who I want to hire, and who I want to serve. If I choose to be discriminative in those decisions, then it's up to the marketplace to either patronize my business or not patronize my business. We have to be adults about it.
So your conclusion about Title VII was there shouldn't be a federal law that prohibits race discrimination in hiring.
That's correct. There should not be. The fact is, when it comes to the marketplace, you vote every day with your dollars. You have a choice to patronize a business that is owned by a business owner whose values you share and those who you don't share. That's your decision. But to go and tattle on the company to the government, I don't think is the constitutional way.
Okay, this is so interesting. Didn't know we were going to go here today, but in my other life, before became politically active and did this talk show, I was a labor lawyer, and I defended businesses in disputes in federal court in Title VII, state court in California for discrimination laws. I had never really, I'm embarrassed to say, never thought, well, that was really constitutional use of the federal power. And I'm, a strong advocate of limiting the federal government, confining it to exactly what the Constitution allows them to do and nothing more. But you do recognize what that was doing to businesses, what it was doing to the whole relationship between employees and their employer. It was creating tension and fear and a sense of victimhood when really nothing had gone wrong, and a sense of just frustration by others who felt like they were being falsely accused. I'm not saying discrimination doesn't happen ever, but disputes that would have worked themselves out in some other way ended up in federal court, in state court, and just entrenched division and resentment in the entire workforce.
I just want to recap. I don't want to give any comments yet. Just want to say that the video started off with him trivializing Martin Luther King, asked what he really did. Then in the answer to the question of what he really did, he said that Martin Luther King created legislation that was unconstitutional and Marxist. And then he convinced this white woman who used to defend companies in discrimination lawsuits that the diversity in the workforce actually creates tension amongst the workforce. I just want to give that recap. Play the second video, so yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right here. So again, this is the problem with the Black community right here, is that Black people struggle with context. He's saying that Chad convinced the white woman when the white woman clearly drew from her own experiences. She literally said disputes that could have been resolved without going to court were going to court. And she said it created a situation of tension because you're trying to force a company to do something. You see, Black people don't want to admit it, but Black people are already communists. Black folks don't believe in the free market. They don't believe in competition. This is one of the spirits of Blackness, is a non-competitive spirit, the spirit to not compete. So anytime you speak about the free market, anytime you speak about a business deciding what they want to do, Black folks get uneasy because they realize they don't have any leverage and they have to actually rely on their talents and their skill. But they've been told they can't rely on their talents and skill because America is racist. Now, this guy, BMO, wants to convince you that America is so racist, but he's allowed to have a podcast where he talks about Black liberation. If America was truly a racist country, all content that talked about Black liberation would be banned. When you go to a communist country, that they have them in the world, you can't get on the internet and say what you want to say. I just saw a guy from Europe was working in Dubai at a pet shop store or something in Dubai, and the company was ran wrong. He said it was ran bad. So when he came, he had posted something online saying what was wrong with the company. Nothing racial, nothing, anything like that. He was talking about how the company was ran wrong. So he left. When he came back, he got arrested. Because you can't be in Dubai and talk about companies running wrong. So again, if America is what BMO says it is, he would not be able to be on a platform condemning America. He wouldn't be able to do it. And I don't understand this disconnect that Black folks have with this. And again, they struggle with context. Again, they struggle with context. Black folks don't understand that what you all are talking about doesn't make sense because you're talking about it. If you're in China and you go against the government, they're going to lock you up, period. If you're in America going against the government, you get a podcast, you get a show, you get endorsements, you get a standing ovation, you get compensation. What that woman said was from her experience, not based on what Chad said. She said, I was fighting for these quote unquote employees that felt discrimination, but she was talking about a lot of the cases could have been resolved. And a lot of the cases weren't even cases. It was just the way somebody feels. Black folks are emotional. Black folks don't rely on logic and truth and understanding and wisdom. Black folks rely on how they feel. So a black person at a job feeling like the person is racist, guess what's happening? They feel like somebody is racist. They feel like somebody doesn't like them. They can't prove it. They just feel like it. One guy told me, I said, well, how many times have you been in a job interview and you didn't get hired because you were black? He said, oh, about 6 times. I said, well, how'd you come to that number? I said, how do you know they didn't hire you because you were black? I said, based on what? I said, based on what? I said, do you believe that if you're walking into an interview and your mindset is already these people are racist, that folks can't see it on your face? Do you know how a person looks when they go into a job interview and they lack confidence? Do you know how a person looks when they're unsure of themselves? You see, black people don't concern themselves with the nuance of life. You're in a job interview, somebody's interviewing you, and you're coming in thinking you're not going to get the job because you're black. That can be seen from a mile away. But black folks don't respect the nuance in life. They don't understand context. They don't understand the ins and outs. What Chad O. Jackson said is 1,000% correct. Do you understand, BMO, that if the federal government has power, they will not give it back? And the more power the federal government gets, the less rights we have. Now, I know you don't care about having rights because you believe in the government taking care of everything, but I don't. I believe in being free. I want limited government involvement. You all love the government. You all run to the government for everything. You talk about you a king and you a god and all this stuff, but when it comes to putting your feet to the pavement, you always run to the government. I've never seen a group of people that tell the world how great they are, but when the push comes to shove, they run into the government to do something. If MLK was who he said he was, then why didn't he galvanize the people? Why do you have to go to the government? Why do you have to go to Lyndon B. Johnson? If MLK is who y'all said he was, then why is he going to the white man begging with his hand out? Let's continue.
Remember, the question is, should we be in conversation? Should we try to find a middle ground? Is there a way that me and this individual can be in community? This next one gonna get y'all. This next one gonna piss you off. Hopefully, maybe. Maybe I should have said that shit. This next one gonna get you.
I told you. Emotional. He can't let you listen to an unbiased clip. This is part of the propaganda. I'm gonna tell you how to feel before I show it to you. I'm gonna tell you how to feel about something before I show it to you. This is much, and this will happen to black folks a lot. They'll say, what you're about to hear next is racist. So you don't even analyze what you even hear. You're just assuming everything out of the person's mouth is racist. What you're about to hear next is racist. And then Trump gets on TV and says, I love Americans. They say, see, we told you. Crazy.
And as I was thinking about these two artists, I began to think about what is the purpose of art. And of course, I'm not the first person to ask this question. This is a question that's been around for a very long time. It's something that the ancient artists thought about. It's something that the Enlightenment thinkers thought about. And it's a question that's ongoing to this very day. The ancients would say, well, art is supposed to imitate nature. Art is supposed to imitate that which is objectively good, that which is objectively true, that which is objectively beautiful. Jean-Jacques Rousseau would come along during the Age of Enlightenment and say, well, no, art is supposed to imitate feeling. And the postmodern artists would take that and run with it. W.E.B. Du Bois, who was a Marxist philosopher, would come along in 1926 and say before a room full of Negro thinkers and activists that all art is propaganda. And the Negro artist must use his artistic expression to push for political policy. Now, that may sound good on its face until you realize that Du Bois was part of that same eugenicist ilk, along with John Dewey and Margaret Sanger, who significantly wrecked American institutions for the worse. For well over a century, social engineers and eugenicists have delved into the cognitive sciences and into the soft sciences to understand human behavior and to use that information to drive society in the way they wish it to go. They've made significant investments into the arts and the entertainment industry, using these as mechanisms to shape public opinion and to prime mankind, especially electorally, to be accepting of politicians and policies which go to achieve the aims of the social engineer. Although the agenda of the social engineer, if achieved, is actually detrimental to the whole of mankind, the mechanisms they use to achieve their goals seem on its face to be very harmless. It appeals to our emotions, our lusts, our passions, our desires, particularly the desire that life should be easier. This is why leftism is hostile to a more meritocratic, conservative way of looking at the world, which says that if I want something, I have to work hard for it and have integrity along the way. Unfortunately, in this postmodern age in which we find ourselves, in order for an artist to gain relative commercial success, many of them feel that they have to acquiesce and promote a leftist way of thinking.
All right, Wake Up Baby. Let's start with the lady of the house. Lady of the house, I would like you to answer the questions before we even get to the commentary. They could be simple before we get there. Should I be in conversation with this individual?
Well, here goes another thing too, right? Do you honestly believe that he understood what Chad just said? Who believes that BMO understood everything that Chad just said? Now, keep in mind, BMO has no historical reference. All he has is propaganda that's been passed down to him. So do you honestly think he understood what Chad O. Jackson was saying? Tierra Barnes said not one word. No Sex said not one word. No. Soy Fanai said no. Kenya said no. Diamone said comprehension skills -0. You already know he did not even understand what Chad even said. All he heard, again, black folks are like Pavlov's dog. They hear certain words and they start salivating at the mouth. The left, salivate. Racism, salivate. Conservatism, salivate. Trump, salivate. Illegal immigration, salivate. So because black folks are struggling with reading and comprehension, and again, most black children do not read, write, or do math on grade level. That means that most black adults got reading and comprehension, which is context, later on in life. There is no way he understood what Chad O. Jackson just said. And he's asking the question, should he be in conversation with Chad O. Jackson? Dear sir, dear BMO, you have not earned the right to be in conversation with Chad O. Jackson. You don't know anything. You have absolutely no idea what a social engineer is. You have no idea what globalism is. You have no idea what communism is. You have no idea about what he's even talking about. So the audacity of you to make a whole show about how you don't like Chad O. Jackson and you can't even understand what he's saying. But this is a spirit of pride. This is one of the spirits of blackness. Let's hear from the woman. And you know the woman runs the house. Let me get that out the way right now. You see on the back of his wall, if we look real quick, there it's filled with propaganda. Let me just make this bigger real quick. Back of his wall is filled with propaganda. And we already know, just based on his rhetoric so far, he is the typical black male where his household is ran by a woman. He's a typical black man with his mother's spirit. He is the typical cut-of-the-mill, run-of-the-mill black man who is ran by the black woman. But let's continue.
I mean, my first mind says yes, because it could be a moment to teach and educate him on a perspective that he doesn't currently have. But
Okay. Second question, would it be worth trying to, is there a middle ground between this individual and myself?
I think there is.
Is that middle ground a negotiation of Black humanity?
Negotiation? I don't think you can negotiate, or you should negotiate Black
I'm saying
humanity.
when I have this conversation with him, would the thing that moves between us be the humanity of Blackness?
Maybe on your end, but not his.
Then last question, what's the middle ground, and can he be in disagreement with these opinions and still be in community with us?
I guess, yeah. I suppose.
I'd like to address his points.
Okay.
First off, I'd like.
Let me
What's the case?
Marketplace, and that's been around for a very long
Emotional response, because then it seems like you're more control. Jones sent me this video. There is a big problem.
Negotiate Black
I'm saying when I have this conversation with him, would the thing that moves between us be the humanity of Blackness?
Maybe on your end, but not his.
Then last question, what's the middle ground, and can he be in disagreement with these opinions and still be in community with us?
I guess, yeah. I suppose.
I'd like to address his points.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just say this. So he mentioned Black humanity. Now, this is just a word that just sounds good. What is Black humanity as opposed to humanity? What is the difference between humanity, being humane, and Black humanity? What's the difference? Shouldn't humanity include everybody? Why are we separating humanity between colors? Black. The shirt I'm wearing today says, I ain't Black, I'm free, for this very reason. Because to be Black is to be controlled. Because there's already a set of programming and propaganda attached to a person being Black. You don't get to come into the world with a clean slate. When you are born, quote unquote, Black, you are born into programming, into propaganda, into the Blatrix. So my question is for BMO, what is Black humanity? Black women lead the nation in abortion. Black women account for 40% of the abortions, but they only account for 6% of the population. So is the abortion rate in the Black community humanity? Black men account for over 50% of the homicides in America, and they are only 6% of the population. Is that Black humanity? Black children cannot read, write, or do math on grade level. Is that Black humanity? Black women lead the nation in obesity. Is that Black humanity? Black people lead the nation in STDs. Is that Black humanity? Black people fell for an organization that openly admitted they were Marxists. Black Lives Matter is the largest Black organization ever in history. And they are literal Marxists and literal crooks. Is that Black humanity? Is it Black humanity when the music spreads death, destruction, and damnation? Is that Black humanity? My question is, what is Black humanity? Is Black culture Black humanity when Black culture doesn't promote marriage? 30% of Black folks get married. Is that Black humanity? They talk about building wealth, but how do you build wealth from a single parent household? It doesn't happen. So the wealth gap mirrors the marriage gap. Is that Black humanity? Black people are spending above $1.5 trillion a year. But yet you see no humanitarian efforts led by black people. If there's any disaster in America or around the world, you don't see any black organizations taking the initiative to help them. Is that black humanity? So my question is, what is black humanity? Because it seems to me that black folks are rather inhumane. I don't know about black humanity, but I do know about black inhumanity. That's what I know about. Black people glorifying criminals and drug dealers, glorifying the public school system, glorifying the government. Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, and black folks ran with it. Kamala Harris ran a platform on abortion and trans rights, and she got 88% of the black vote. Joe Biden ran on, we got to get Trump out of office, and he broke the record, got the most black votes in history. Now, we know it was fake, but still. Country is in shambles. You didn't see black folks mobilizing against the mandates. You didn't see black folks mobilizing against the snake bites. You didn't see black folks mobilize against anything. You saw black folks lining up and complying. Anytime something is wrong, white folks get involved, not black people. They got on TV and said the number one threat to America is the evangelical Christian white male, not black unity. Nobody's afraid of black unity. Nobody. Because when black folks unify, bad things happen. HBCUs, trash. Black neighborhoods, for the most part, trash. Black culture, trash. Black music, trash. Black organizations, trash. You're going to be hard-pressed to find something that black folks are involved in where they run it and it's running good. You're going to be hard-pressed. Let's continue.
First off, I'd like to say there is a big problem here. And to me, the biggest problem here that I've seen in these two videos, and I'm going to address 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points that he made. I'm going to address 9 points that he's made. But there's actually one big thing here that pisses me off the most. Okay. It's a white tool. Under the tool of civility. Yeah. It's called stoicism, non-emotional, controlled response, logical thinking. When Ramona Jones sent me this video and asked if I could be in conversation with him, I thought about it for a second and I said, I don't think so. Mostly because if you trivialize my heroes directly in front of my face, I actually might hit you. Like you might actually get popped. And I don't even know if I'd be able to control it.
Now let me stop right here. Now let's do this right real quick. I'm gonna stop it right here. First of all, he said it's a white tool, it's whiteness, to be civil, to be non-emotional, have logical thinking, and have a controlled response. That's what he associates with whiteness. Think about his mind. So what he's saying is to have manly attributes, because really it's talking about masculine versus feminine right here. To not be emotional and all over the place. He's saying to be controlled and logical in your thinking, to be reserved, to actually think about what you're talking about, to be objective. To be civil is white. Then he says, if you talk about my heroes in front of me, I might pop you. I volunteered for the open debate. I volunteered because MLK was a Marxist, demigod, antichrist, demon, Satan, worker of iniquity. MLK was working for Satan. But not just him. Marcus Garvey working for Satan. But not just him. Du Bois, working for Satan. But not just him. Elijah Muhammad working for Satan. But not just him. Barack Obama working for Satan. Anybody you put in front of me working for Satan. And it's just that simple. You see, this is the problem with black people. It's okay to not know. The Bible says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. But knowledge itself is character-based. It is your job to know where the ledge is. Black people have no concern about the ledge. They're concerned with their feelings and emotions, not truth, not facts. This is why most black people actually reject God's word, because God's word is truth. Black folks are always looking for a chink in the Bible. They're always looking for some way to get around Christ, always. This man just said he can't sit in a room and have a debate about MLK not being a follower of Christ, but wanting to be a pastor, not being a person that attended schools for communists, not being a communist and socialist himself, not being a whoremonger himself. You can't talk about him, that guy, or else I'm going to get upset. That sounds very feminine-like. That's why I keep telling y'all that most black men are led by women. Jesse Lee Peterson said that most of these men have their mother's spirit, and it's true. They process things like a woman, and he's no different. You can't sit across from another man and have a discussion based on the evidence that you all both present. That's a coward. So if we're in a room talking and I tell you the facts and truth about your heroes and you want to fight, then guess what's going to happen? That's what's going to happen. We're just going to fight. And then in the end of the fight, I'm going to still say the same thing. Nothing would have changed. To even suggest that you're going to hit somebody in the mouth is not only foolish, but it's something a obligity would do. An emotional obligity. You're going to hit somebody because I'm telling you the truth about your heroes. Because you so ignorant and dumb, you don't know. You want to fight because you don't know. Well, we're going to fight then. That's all. Dummy.
And that to me is the opposite or the intended goal of what whiteness wants. They want you to have an emotional response because then it seems like you're more controlled. It seems like you're more radical. In actuality, your humanity is being stricken from you right in front of your face. But then they'll act like, oh, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Why are you so angry? Why are they so emotional? Try to minimize you with your own humanity. To be emotional is to be human.
To be emotional is to act like a woman. How are you going to be emotional and lead the household? How are you going to be emotional and lead the household? You emotional, your woman's emotional, but y'all going to make something work. Stop.
To judge me on my emotions or my emotional response after something terrible has happened is to judge me on my humanity. Reduce your humanness so you can interact with me, nigger. That's what that is. So this calm, stoic, I'm going to talk peacefully in one tone. I'm going to set up next to the fire and have it crackling next to me. Bullshit. That's the whitest thing of these videos. How could you talk about the qualms, the problems happening to blackness without getting upset?
Right.
Ain't nothing happening to black people. There's nothing happening to black people. What's happening to black people? Can somebody articulate for me what are black people going through in America? Can somebody please tell me? When I turn on social media, which is a snapshot of what black folks are doing every day, I don't see any of this. I see a bunch of TV shows with the propaganda, a bunch of movies with propagandas, a bunch of sports teams promoting it, entertainment promoting it. I don't see this in real life. What are black folks going through? Can someone help me out? What are black people going through? Tell me. The closest thing that black folks experienced to segregation and Jim Crow was during the Peter pandemic with those mandates. And they said you couldn't come in here unless you got the shot. You can't do this unless you get the shot or unless you put your mask on. That was the closest thing to segregation and Jim Crow that black folks experienced. And did you see one black group riot or protest about that? No, you didn't. So my question is, what are black folks going through? What are they going through? Absolutely nothing. Black folks ain't going through nothing but a bunch of programming and propaganda. You telling me you gods of the earth, but you begging the government. You telling me that you're kings and queens, but you're scared of white folks. Make up your mind. Which one is it? It's my humanity. I should be allowed to be emotional when something bad happened to me. A bunch of weak, cowardly men. This is why I say this. The black man is not fit to lead because he always has an excuse. This is what I'm talking about. Let BMO be the example. Black men always have an excuse. You never hear the black man say, you know what? I don't care what happens, I'm going to succeed. They always crying. Let me be emotional. Let me be emotional. Let me cry. Let me show my humanity. Cowards. Weak. Disgusting.
How can you just flippantly discuss Martin Luther King, W.E. Du Bois, the tensions in the workplace, constitutional inequities, the purpose of art, eugenics, things that are detrimental to the black community, and not have an attitude? That's my biggest qualm with the thing. But I'm going to take umbrage with a few points. My man minimalized Martin Luther King. He said, what did Martin Luther King actually do? And then he goes on to say, oh, he actually lobbied for legislation that is unconstitutional. Why is that not a good thing? Why is it when this bitch nigga explains how the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act were unconstitutional and Marxist legislation, why is he advocating for random white men in 1776 who created a constitution that labeled him 3/5 of a person?
Exactly.
He doesn't even understand what the 3/5 means. This is what I'm talking about. He doesn't even understand what the 3/5 even means. 3/5 came when it was unfair for a plantation owner to have slaves and each slave have a vote. So technically, one household would have, let's just say, 20 votes. That can swing an election. So we're going to count each slave as 3/5, not a whole person when it comes to voting. The 3/5 of a person is not for the person's humanity. It's when it comes to, like, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. But guess what? This is what black culture is. He done called Chad out his name. And this is what they do. They get emotional. They can't control themselves. But I would say that I display emotion. I'm not talking monotone. I'm not by the campfire. I'm telling you right now, you a coward. You a fool. You don't know what you're talking about. MLK gave the federal government more power. So now I know somebody in New York. She did not want to make a wedding gown for an LGBTQ couple. Guess what? It's her business. It's her right. But because of MLK, the couple sued and she lost. Now she got to pay $25,000. You're going to tell me that's right. As a business owner, I should have to serve who wants me to serve them. No. It's called the private sector for a reason. It's called the free market for a reason. If someone doesn't want me to patron their business, and guess what? I won't do it. Black folks always want to go where they're not wanted. They always want to go where somebody don't want them to be around. They always want to force their way in. If I tell you I don't want to be around you, how is that a problem? I'll tell you why. Because black folks are insecure. Another spirit of blackness is insecurity. Black folks are insecure. They don't like folks not liking them. They're people pleasers. This is what makes them prime and ready to serve Satan, because they're people pleasers. This guy doesn't know anything he's talking about, but he's talking reckless, talking crazy, and don't know nothing.
Why is the criticism on Marxism, why is the Constitution, why are those the bearer of equity? Who said that that was the Bible of how people should be treated? And to go back to
the people that found, first of all, the Constitution does not deal with race. The Constitution is not a document based in race. And those who determine how folks should be treated are the folks that founded this country. If you don't like it, BMO, then go somewhere else where you have no rights, where there ain't no Constitution. BMO, take your happy dread self to another country, and I guarantee you'll be running back. And don't take American money. Leave your American money here. Go to another country where it's all black folks around you and see how you like it. And see how you like it. The people that determine how Americans should be treated are the folks that founded the country. If you don't like it, just leave. Just go somewhere else where you think it's better. But what I find so fascinating is that there's no mass migration into places where people of color run it. There's no mass migration into places where people of color run it. There's only mass migration into places where white people run it. What does that tell you? Oh, okay.
what you said in the article earlier, my man said with a straight face that the Civil Rights Act is black folks tattling to the federal government because of discrimination.
Right.
He believes that the marketplace, the free market, is where equitable action happens, where you actually have a fair chance to do business. To which I say to him, has he seen the wealth gap?
See, Jarrell said 3/5 help free black people and prevent the South from taking power right back after the war. That's true. Because again, 3/5 dealt with voting. So that's right, Jarrell. That's true. Now he talks about the wealth gap, but I'm gonna say this again for BMO. I know he's obligatory, he don't know nothing. The wealth gap mirrors the marriage gap. You are not going to be able to build wealth and only 30% of the population gets married. You are not going to be able to build wealth if only 30% of the population gets married. So if only 30% of black folks get married, it's going to be hard to build wealth. It's going to be a wealth gap because everybody else believes in marriage except y'all. And I said y'all because I ain't black. Now, the free market is equitable because the free market says that if I don't like what's going on, I can just start my own business. I can go where I'm wanted. I have options. The free market is just that. You have options. You can start your own business or go where you want to be served or patron. Either way, you have options in the free market. What black folks want is communism. That's why y'all don't produce nothing.
Do you not know, as you're talking about and picking at them and minimizing what Jim Crow is, as you're talking about what Jim Crow is, it's a cute name for economic apartheid.
Right.
It is a way to create a lower impoverished class. And then you are also saying in the same mouth that the person who lobbied, created, and gave his life to create this legislation did nothing because that act was unconstitutional. This man is dangerous. And then says it with a calm demeanor, as if it should be as it should be believed, as it should be taken seriously.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's absolutely true. Black people had their own. Black people were successful. Matter of fact, let's you know what? How about we do this real quick? Let me pause 1 second. let me pause 1 second. Let me I'm trying to find that clip that I had of Claude Anderson talking. I'm just trying to find. No, that's not it. Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to find that video that Chad did. I'm just trying to figure out what photo I put it in. You know what? Let me try this one right here. I'm trying to find that Claude Anderson clip. Because that would have been perfect for right now. Let me just let him talk and I'll look for it. Let him speak and I'll look for it. Let him go.
As if it is not some type of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wish death on many people. This young man is getting close. I wish death on Kevin Samuels. I'm not one of you religious, godly niggas who got a problem with wishing death on niggas. I don't got a problem. Kevin Samuels should have died. This nigga is getting close.
You heard what he just said? Now imagine this man wishing death upon people. And I told y'all he was a beta. I told y'all he was a beta simp. I told y'all. I can tell. Ran by the woman. I can already tell. I can tell by the way he speaks, mannerisms. I can just tell. He got his woman's spirit. Now imagine this man wishing death on Kevin Samuels and then lightweight wishing death on Chad Jackson. And this man knows absolutely nothing. He doesn't know anything. It's just all pure emotion. It's just pure emotion. I wish they had a clip of this Claude Anderson. So I don't want the whole thing. I just want a clip of it. I gotta look through my videos. I can't find them now. But you heard what this guy just said. And this is what I mean by the black man not being fit to lead. Because they always have an excuse. So now he's gone from talking about black humanity to wishing death upon black folks. I'm telling y'all, black folks, you can't listen to him. His whole soapbox was based on black humanity. Now he's saying he's wishing death upon certain black people. You can't listen to him. I don't listen to him. Crazy. And he's talking about should he sit down with Chad Jackson as if he qualifies to sit down with Chad Jackson. Imagine the audacity to think that you qualify to sit down with Chad and you know absolutely nothing. You don't know anything. Black people own slaves. Black people own land. Black folks have businesses before Jim Crow and after, during Jim Crow and after. During segregation, black folks own businesses and own land. did everything the white folks did. This is factual information. It's factual. The black man is weak. Is this organic chapstick? Well, it's non-petroleum. I don't know about organic. It's non-petroleum. Vegan lip balm. Vegan lip balm. Yes, he did. He did take the shot. Yes, he did. But this guy went from black humanity to wishing death upon Kevin Samuels and getting close to wishing death upon Chad Jackson. This guy is an utter clown.
I want to address the second one. What's the purpose of art? And I feel like this is why Ramona Jones actually sent me this young man. Isn't it crazy? He used every source that I use. We got to the same point of W.E.B. Du Bois, but instead of keeping straight, this nigga turned around.
Right.
He diminished the creator of sociology, not black sociology, the entire field of sociology, the entire field of data visualization, an Afrofuturist in the first kind. He minimalized, this is not even going to his black accomplishments, but he minimalized W.E.B. Du Bois, the founder of the NAACP, the founder of the Niagara movement, the founder of anti-lynching legislation in the late 1800s. Mm-hmm. We just went off live on Instagram. Yeah.
It still says this. What should I do?
I'm not moving though.
Yeah, I know.
That's interesting.
It says sending data only on Instagram, but the other two say streaming.
Okay, the people still see me. We still on Instagram. We still on YouTube. That's YouTube, right? All right.
Yeah.
He minimalized one of the greatest black people to ever have graced the planet to a eugenicist.
But it's true. You see what's, again, black people are okay with not knowing. That is very dangerous to not know. Black people have platforms all across this country and they don't know anything. W.E.B. Du Bois believed in a talented 10th. He believed that 10% of black people should rule over the 90%. What does that sound like? What does that sound like? The top 10% of black people should rule over the 90%. What does that sound like? Did you hear equity in that? Do you hear equality in that? No. You hear communism. The ruling class rules over the 90%. What if I don't want to be ruled by the 10%? Then what? You gonna throw me in jail? You gonna put me in front of a firing squad? What if I say no? Then what? W. Du Bois was a communist and admitted communism before he died. These folks don't believe. What did Du Bois do? What did he do with his hand? What did he build? Nothing. It's all ideas. He don't believe in the free market. He doesn't believe in private owned business. He don't believe in owning land. They don't believe in independence. W.E.B. Du Bois was instrumental in destroying America. How about that? He's one of the forefathers in the destruction of America. How about that? Yes, I'm going to reduce him and MLK to workers of iniquity. You notice he won't mention Joseph A. Jackson. He won't mention Booker T. He won't mention a whole segment of black people that were instrumental in where black folks are today. He won't even mention them. He's only going to mention the folks that he's been fed through propaganda and programming his entire life. And again, he's an emotional, feminized woman of a man. He has his mother's spirit. The black man is weak. He ain't fit to lead. And this is why. How you go from talking about black humanity till I want somebody dead that's black? You're crazy. And you're a heathen.
Right.
To something that's harmful towards black people. And the eugenicist statement that he is claiming that W.E.B. Du Bois would make is the talented 10th. But he literally went against that before he died and said it was a bad idea. Cherry picking arguments to minimize our black heroes. So that
Marcus Garvey was working with the eugenicists too. Marcus Garvey was working with the eugenicists too. You act like W.D. Bois saying he was against the talented 10th, but he was for communism is any better. That's like saying, I didn't want to use my gun, I used my sword. Like, what are you talking about? Ain't nobody cherry picking no argument.
That you can make white points so that you can convince a white woman that she should have been more discriminative while protecting businesses during discrimination cases.
And again, what the woman said was based on her own experience. Again, if you go and watch the clip again and watch without emotion, Chad didn't change her opinion. She just talked about her experiences about a lot of times it wasn't discrimination. It was based on how somebody felt. Do you know how treacherous labor unions are? Do you know how treacherous it is to be a part of a labor union, and then once you know you're protected, you have immunity, how production is after that? Talk to people, talk to businesses, talk to people that work with folks that work in unions, see what happens. See what they do. So again, that woman never said that she wouldn't fight against discrimination. That's not what she said. She said in a lot of cases that it wasn't discrimination and that it was infringing upon the business because it was assumed that it was discrimination when it wasn't. And we are going to let black folks lie. So a black person saying something is racist pretty much got taken with a grain of salt. I have yet to meet a black person that told me something was racist and it was actually racist. I haven't seen it. Think about the most controversial and popular issues that black folks have seen in the past X amount of years. Tell me how many have been racist, based on racism. I've yet to see a black person tell me something was racist. I look into it and it's actually racism. I haven't seen it. I'm not afraid to say it. Black people lie. Black people lying is a byproduct of black culture. Because black culture doesn't respect honesty, doesn't respect truth. So lying is okay in black culture and being ignorant as well. So again, a person can be passionate. And this is why I talk about black privilege. When black folks are speaking, it's believed because they're so emotional. All that rah, rah, rah makes people believe they're telling the truth and they're not. He doesn't know anything. But BMO knows absolutely nothing. And he has his mother's spirit. And he's led by his woman. Somebody said, was the Sesame Street incident racist? What happened on Sesame Street? What happened? What happened on Sesame Street?
And then lastly, I'll say the argument that he presents in the second video that we watched, where he says that W.E.B. Du Bois was trying to engineer a society in which it legislated or created soft sciences around the difficulty of life.
True.
This same man who believes in the open market, in the free market, that you should be able to participate freely, also has the opinion, this man who participates in the free market and believes in open participation within that capitalistic structure also believes that, oh shit, I forgot my point. What was I just talking about? We're talking about W.E.B. Du Bois. Oh, life should be easy. This man who believes in the free market and the open system that is capitalism, that you should be able to participate in the market, figure it out, also believes that life should be hard. also believes that like discrimination should happen. It should be naturally legislated out through a system of commerce.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
because of his use of white civility, because of his alignment with whiteness, because of his refusal to see the black perspective and cherry pick the portions of blackness that only support his argument, because he does this with a blank face, because he does this with a whack ass, soft ass voice, I'd like to nominate, I don't even want to tell you his name. I'm not. I'm nominating that nigga for the blue face bitch nigga of the moment.
So I'm gonna end right there because I don't know how many times you're gonna curse and he gonna using the N-word and all this stuff. You know, everybody else using N-word except me on my channel. I can't say it, even if I don't even say it. But to answer BMO, so basically BMO, it's like this. The free market is based on competition. So that means may the best man win. Now, may the best man win should galvanize and invigorate a man to want to go out there and compete. But may the best man win strikes fear into the average black man because the average black man is weak. He has excuses. He doesn't believe in competition. Du Bois didn't either. That's why Du Bois wanted to have the soft sciences around industries to create government control, because the goal here is to expand the federal government, because black folks don't have any power. They don't produce anything. So all black folks have is for the federal government to acquiesce to what they want, to put pressure on everybody else, which is what MLK did. He didn't build nothing. You don't hear about MLK building a building, having a farm. You don't producing a product. He had ideas. And most of these black intellectuals, they have ideas. They don't build anything. So they don't even understand or appreciate what it means for a man to put his blood, sweat, and tears into something. Life should be hard, but life should also be good. You know why? Life should be balanced. There should be good times and bad times. Why? Because it builds character. It allows us to appreciate the good things. It allows us to persevere through the hard times. But black folks don't believe in building character. Ain't no character in black culture. Again, these are weak and feminized men. The man literally stood on black humanity and then said he wanted black men dead. Come on, what are we talking about? These men are feminized. Hold up. They're not only propagandized, but they're also feminized. They're propagandized, they're programmed, and they're feminized. They have their mother's spirit. These are weak black men. They have excuses. You'll never hear these men go on the platform and say, we can do it. I can do it. I don't need the government. You'll never hear them say that. You'll never hear them say, you know what? Let's unrestrict the free market. May the best man win. You'll never hear that. I had a career as a video engineer, and I got kicked out of my career because I didn't want to take a shot. Did I go on the warpath? No. Did I call them racist? No. I said that business has the right to do what they did. Now, if I can seek compensation, if I can seek legislation, then I will, because if you violated my rights in the process, then now we got a problem. But you're welcome to fire me. You're welcome to boot me out. You just can't violate my rights to do it. And that's the difference. So again, I got booted out of my career where I was making great money. And guess what? I got another job somewhere else. Not doing what I was doing, not making what I was making, but it is what it is. But I still respect the free market. I still respect competition. It's my job to go out there and get it. Whether I get fired or hired, it's my job to go out there and get it. So this man just said life not supposed to be hard. What he's saying is life's supposed to be easy. What type of grown man wakes up and says life should be easy? How would you ever build character with an easy life? You're not. You should have to overcome certain things. You should have to dig deep to who you really are and overcome certain things. But black folks don't believe in character. They don't believe in hard work. They don't believe in perseverance. They don't believe in competition. So the reason why he doesn't want to debate Chatto Jackson is not because he dislikes Chatto Jackson's points, none of that stuff. He knows that Chatto Jackson will destroy him in a debate. And he'll just be emotional. Like he knows this. He knows good and well because, black folks, if they can win, they're going to do it. If he could win a debate with Chatto Jackson, he would do it. But he knows he can't. He don't know nothing. And what they always do is they always go to insults. They always attack the person, but not really what Chatto Jackson was saying. And let's go back to what did, because he keeps harping on this. Let's go back before I close him out. Let's go back to the clip where the white lady was talking.
Find a middle ground that would still call black folks human. I'm not sure if when I play these videos and we talking about having a common ground, I'm not sure the common ground is black humanity. Go ahead and play it.
But we already know that black humanity isn't just objective. It's very subjective because black humanity means he gets to determine which black lives get to get humane treatment. If they disagree with him, he wants them deceased. So we already know that black humanity is very conditional. It ain't just again, anytime you put black in front of something, it already diminishes. So when you say black humanity, black school, black neighbor, it's already diminished. It already has the foundation of communism in it. But let's play it again.
The first video, so yeah. She was turning up the light. Huh?
Where can niggas be?
No.
What's it? Oh, My New Enemy?
Yes.
Okay.
My New Enemy.
But Cover Mr. King, rarely do we ask the question, why is he so lionized? What did he actually do? Especially if you understand the backdrop of the way Black culture was trending prior to his popularization, along with other so-called minority groups in this country. That is to say, it was on an upward trajectory. So what is it that he brought to the table? Well, what he brought to the table was the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which was an unconstitutional piece of legislation, specifically Titles 2 and 7, which expanded the federal government's role in small businesses. Now, this is tried and true Marxist ideology, because what the Marxists believe is that the government should own the means of production. So why would you want to give the federal government that much of a fixture into your company? I should have the right to decide who I want to fire, who I want to hire, and who I want to serve. If I choose to be discriminative in those decisions, then it's up to the marketplace to either patronize my business or not patronize my business. We have to be adults about it.
So your conclusion about Title VII was there shouldn't be a federal law that prohibits race discrimination in hiring.
That's correct. There should not be. The fact is, when it comes to the marketplace, you vote every day with your dollars. You have a choice to patronize a business that is owned by a business owner whose values you share and those who you don't share. That's your decision. But to go and tattle on a company to the government, I don't think is the constitutional way.
Okay, this is so interesting. Didn't know we were going to go here today, but in my other life, before I became politically active and did this talk show, I was a labor lawyer and I defended businesses in disputes in federal court in Title VII, state court in California for discrimination laws. I had never really, I'm embarrassed to say, never thought, well, that was really a constitutional use of the federal power. And I'm, a strong advocate of limiting the federal government, confining it to exactly what the Constitution allows them to do and nothing more. But you do recognize what that was doing to businesses, what was doing to the whole relationship between employees and their employer. Mm-hmm. It was creating tension and fear and a sense of victimhood when really nothing had gone wrong, and a sense of just frustration by others who felt like they were being falsely accused. I'm not saying discrimination doesn't happen ever, but disputes that would have worked themselves out in some other way ended up in federal court, in state court, and just entrenched division and resentment in the entire workforce.
So if you heard her, what she said was that she defended companies. You know, I even misheard what she said in the beginning. What she said was she defended companies. And what she said was clear, that it created workplace tensions. It created situations that would otherwise have worked themselves out because many of the cases weren't discriminatory. So her job was to actually defend companies. What she said was that she never thought about it being unconstitutional. She was just going based on what it was. But in actuality, it is unconstitutional because even if the company was being discriminatory, they should have the right to go work somewhere else. Like, I don't have to work. Like, if a company tells me, listen, we are requiring all employees to get the snake bite, I have a decision. I can stay there and work or I can leave. It is what it is. So the federal government coming in and saying what you can do as a company or a business is a problem, because in the future, what you have is companies being forced to compromise their principles to appease the federal government. Now you're saying I have to meet a quota. I have to hire one trans person. I have to hire 2 lesbians. I have to hire 3 disabled. I have to, no. Because the goal is communism. The goal is for the state to control the means of production. They don't believe in private business. They want the government to control everything. And Black folks have no problem with that. Black folks have no problem with that, with the government controlling everything. And it's because there's a spirit to not compete in Black culture. They don't believe in competition. Now, this guy, we were talking about Black humanity till he said Kevin Samuel deserved to die. He said he about to put Chad on that list. He went from Black humanity, and again, that's why I said Black humanity is who they determine who gets to live and who doesn't. They determine who gets humane treatment, who doesn't. Expanding the federal government is insane. And if you were unclear on that, just look at what happened in 2020 and 2021, where the federal government stepped into the private sector and told these companies to do this. And then stepped in the private sector again and told these social media companies to censor and ban people. But guess what? During that time period, Black folks had no problem with what was going on. This is why everything that BMO says is disqualified. Because at the moment when you should have cared about all this Black stuff, you didn't. That was in 2020 and 2021. Black folks losing their job because they didn't want to get a shot. And I know he jabbed up and smoked out. Them telling Black folks, you can't come into this establishment unless you got a shot or a mask or both. Black folks had no problem with the federal government stepping into the private sector and ruining their lives, which lets you know that Black folks are already primed and ready for communism. BMO is a weak, feminized, propagandized, and programmed Black man. He is not fit to lead, and he's led by his woman. He has excuses. You will never hear this man say, get it off the muscle. You will never hear this man say, I'm going to succeed regardless. You will never hear this man say, I don't need the government. You will never hear him say that. He will always have a crutch, and I also guarantee that he is anti-Christ. I will also guarantee that he's anti-Bible. Guarantee it. Because most emotional men don't believe in God. Emotional men tend to rely on their emotions and tend to rely on a woman, not God, not Jesus. Then he said if he was sitting across from Chad having a discussion, he gonna hit him in the mouth. All of these things are cowardly attributes. And guess what? He ain't gonna bust a grape. He wouldn't bust a grape if he was standing on it. He wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. He wouldn't bust a grape making a fruit salad. He ain't gonna do nothing but sit there and get emotional during a debate. That's all he gonna do is throw a tantrum. like a child that doesn't get his way. He went from black humanity to picking which black folks should die. He is obligatory. Close the chapter on BMO. One more thing, BMO. You don't qualify to have a debate with Shadow Jackson at all. You don't know anything. And somebody needs to tell you this. You know absolutely nothing. Stop acting like a woman and give your life to Christ. That's my advice for you. Put away your feminine ways. Put the weed down and give your life to Christ. Stop being a coward. Stop being emotional and give your life to Christ. Stop being soft and weak and filled with excuses and give your life to Christ. Stop being led by a woman and give your life to Christ. You are disgusting and you are despicable. And the only thing that can save you is repentance. Repent, heathen bliggity. I'm done with BMO. Let's continue. Let's continue. I wish I could have found that clip of Claude Anderson talking, but I know I have it somewhere. I know I have it somewhere, y'all. It just irks me that I can't find it. Yeah. And I know I got it. I'll find it for the next one. Sorry about that, y'all. Let me go to my videos today. Oh, I might have found it.
Anderson went on to the Breakfast Club and he told Leonard McKelvey, who calls himself Charlemagne the God. Of course, I don't call any man the God, so I will refer to him as Leonard. He told Leonard that prior to the 60s, many blacks were focused on self-improvement and economic development, and they were not at all concerned about integrating with white folks.
Black folk had up 100 times more before social integration hit. See, I'm old enough to tell you all that. You're all not old enough to know that yet. Mm-hmm. We weren't looking for any social integration. You know why? Because we had our own businesses.
And that it wasn't until the Montgomery bus boycott that blacks began to shift their focus.
We don't kill our buses.
Right.
Social integration. When all of a sudden, you all start talking about Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King going down to Alabama, want to integrate the bus lines. Integrate whose bus lines? Blacks in Winston-Salem says, we want to ride on fronts of white buses. So we said, we don't have any white buses. They said, well, we'll get some so we can ride on the front of them.
To Leonard, and I'm sure also to a lot of his listeners who have the misfortune of being miseducated in our schools, what Dr. Anderson was saying seemed to be a novel idea, something that no one has ever thought of before.
I feel like a complete asshole because I never thought about that. Like that whole time they did the boycott, they should have been trying to establish their own bus company as opposed to wanting to ride. I never thought about that. Y'all boycotted for a year just to want to ride on the front?
See, you're a smart man.
I never thought about that.
In reality, not only was it thought of before, and blacks like Claude Anderson's family actually owned buses, the idea was actually pitched to Martin Luther King at the time by Reverend Joseph H. Jackson, who offered to buy black-owned buses for the blacks in Montgomery, but Martin Luther King turned him down and said, no, that wouldn't be wise. Reverend Jackson and his church still supported the boycott, going so far as to raise and donate $1,000 to the efforts, which equates to $11,000 in today's dollars. Jackson later realized
that those involved in organizing the boycott were actually not being very honest at all, and that they were using the facade of integration to disrupt black business prospects in pursuit of a larger Marxist social order.
It seems to me that the civil rights movement must now begin to organize for the guaranteed annual income, begin to organize people all over our country and mobilize forces so that we can bring to the attention of our nation this need and this something which I believe will go a long, long way.
Imagine MLK saying that he wanted a guaranteed annual income. How do you achieve that? How do you achieve a guaranteed annual income? Now, once you think about what MLK was saying in the 60s, and then think about what they're saying today with a universal basic income, everybody should get a basic income, whether they work or not, whether they produce or not, whether they're industrious or not. Everybody deserves to have an income. So what you're saying is that somebody somewhere is going to have to foot this bill. So who's going to pay for all the folks that either can't find work or don't want to work? Who pays for all these folks that can't find work or don't want to work? Who gets that bill? Well, you know who gets it. The people that are working. The people that are working are the ones that pay for those that aren't. So you heard Dr. Claude Anderson, he was very clear. He said black people had a lot more before integration. So why doesn't BMO get mad at Claude Anderson? Why doesn't BMO want to punch Claude Anderson? What different is being said from Claude Anderson and Chad O. Jackson?
And he told Leonard McKelvey, who calls himself Charlemagne the God. Of course, I don't call any man the God, so I will refer to him as Leonard. He told Leonard that prior to the 60s, many blacks were focused on self-improvement and economic development, and they were not at all concerned about integrating with white folks.
Black folk had up 100 times more before social integration hit. See, I'm old enough to tell you all that. You all not old enough to know that yet. Mm-hmm. We weren't looking for this social integration. You know why? Because we had our own businesses.
And that it wasn't until...
So again, when Chad O. Jackson asked the question, what did MLK do? And then Claude Anderson says, well, we had a lot more before integration. So now I'm going to ask BMO. So if Claude Anderson is telling you that we had a lot more before integration, and Chad O. Jackson is telling you that Title VII expanded the federal government, the question goes back to, then what did MLK actually do? What did he do? I'll tell you what he did. He was instrumental in destroying America. That's what he did. That's what he did. MLK just said that a person should have a guaranteed annual income.
Order.
It seems to me that the civil rights movement must now begin to organize for the guaranteed annual income, begin to organize people all over our country and mobilize forces so that we can bring to the attention of our nation this need and this something which I believe will go a long, long way.
Again, and Chad O. Jackson has a documentary coming out with Chad, Chuck, and Vince Ellison, Motives Unmasked, a historical account. But he's raising money for that currently. You all donate to Chad's fundraiser endeavors for these projects. And you know that in the future, everything that Chad and Chuck and, Keisha, myself, people like us, this stuff is going to be the true gospel in the future. As far as history, the information will be forbidden to be known. Years from now, what I'm telling you now, you have to listen to in a cave somewhere. it'll be forbidden. You just heard MLK say that he wanted people to have a guaranteed annual income. That is no different than the globalists saying they want a universal basic income. So now you see there's a connection. I keep telling y'all this. The foundation of everything you see in the world with Agenda 2030, the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, the World Bank, the what's the other one? The United Nations. Everything you see, the foundation goes back to the relationship between black and white in America, the relationship between America and black people. That is the foundation for all of these wicked agendas. How is it possible for MLK to be talking about universal basic income 70 years before they got it with the United Nations, Agenda 2030, Sustainable Goals? How? I'll tell you why. Because the foundation was laid with the Civil Rights Movement. They were planting these seeds back in the early 1900s with this propaganda and programming. Black people are the people of influence. So they get black people to push the agenda to get the rest of the world to say, okay, it's good. That is a great responsibility that Satan is using. There's a picture I'm gonna put up. There's a picture I want to put up of, it's a picture of MLK and Sexy Red. And I saw someone put this on their page and they said it was disrespectful, that no other race of people do this and all of this stuff. But I'm gonna say this. This picture, whoever made it, I don't think they realized how profound and prophetic this picture is of MLK and Sexy Red. Now, many people may say, oh, he's trying to holler at Sexy Red, or he's her sugar daddy, or whatever. But that's not what I see. I see a father and daughter having a dance. That's what I see. I see a father and a daughter having a dance. I'm gonna make it larger. That's what I see. No, Jarrell, they don't realize that basic income is just that. It's to cover your quote unquote basic needs, but that's only if they don't raise the price of something. So if your basic income is based on bread being $1 and eggs being $2, and they raise the price of bread to $2 and the eggs to $3, you're going to be in trouble. So the goal of a universal basic income is slavery. Because if they control the market, you're screwed. The universal basic income it will be based on the price of current things. It does not take into account of anything fluctuating in price. But you best believe with a universal basic income, the prices will never go down, they'll only go up. But this picture right here is of MLK and Sexy Red. And like I said before, many people will assume that this is a picture of MLK being a sugar daddy and Sexy Red being, his little whatever, little plaything. But I see a father and a daughter. Sexy Red is the daughter of MLK. And ironically, her name is Sexy Red, red representing communism. Think about what Black culture became after the Civil Rights Movement. Think about MLK, think about his legacy, and think about what happened after the Civil Rights Movement. Immediately after the Civil Rights Movement, Hollywood said, let's have Black exploitation films. Let's put the masses of Black people in cinema, on TV. I want you to look at how many shows were established in the 70s after the Civil Rights Movement. Isn't it ironic that after the movement, They just thrust black folks into music more, into obviously into movies and the TV shows. Black folks were everywhere. Why did it happen after the civil rights movement? Think about that. And so there are many sexy reds that live on MLK streets around the country. To me, MLK's greatest legacy indicator is the fact that where his name is on the street is where the crime is where the violence is where the poverty is where the death, destruction, and damnation is. Whenever you see an MLK street, you know that's where all the worst stuff happens. How is that possible? You all are trying to assure me that MLK's legacy was intact and it's true and he fought for the people, but somehow, some way, when I see his name on the street sign, I know it's death, destruction, and damnation. So there are many sexy reds on MLK Boulevard. Matter of fact, sexy red came, not her in particular, but that type came from MLK Junior Boulevard. So this picture, this AI image, to me, isn't disrespectful. It's very telling. Because Sexy Red is his daughter. Today's title is The Seeds of MLK. MLK fathered Sexy Red. Because what he said was that the black man and black woman couldn't do for themselves. They needed the government. What he said was that the black man and black woman needed the government to succeed. So you created a whole generation of black people that actually believe that they could not be successful without some type of government involvement, i.e. affirmative action, i.e. DEI. But of course, many black folks will take the stance of either comedy from this is hilarious, or they would take the stance of it's disrespectful, but it's not. MLK was a literal pastor who did not believe in Christ. That should make everybody's head scratch. Why would a man who didn't believe in Christ want to be a pastor? You have to ask yourself that question. What devious and nefarious and diabolical plan did a man have who didn't believe in Christ, but he wanted to be in front of a bunch of people that did? And as Shadow Jackson has stated, MLK never offered salvation to anybody in all of his sermons. He never brought somebody to Christ. You're right. They created black exploitation films where they showed the worst of black people and glamorized it. And then right after the 70s was the boom in gang culture, the boom in drug culture, the boom in black culture. Do you see what ushered in the destruction of the black community? It was communism. It was Marxism. It was socialism. So Sexy Red, so appropriately named, is the seed of MLK. She is the result. She even said it. You can't tell me what to do with my anatomy. It's her body, it's her choice. What does Sexy Red promote? She promotes sex, degradation. She don't promote being a mother. She don't promote being an upstanding citizen. She don't promote what you all call black excellence. She promotes degradation. But how could she not? When her father told her that she could not make it on her own. Her father literally told her that you can only succeed by going to the federal government, by having a mentality that you couldn't make it on your own, by not having any resiliency, any character, by not believing that you could take these two hands and achieve something, or take this mind and achieve something. So why would Sexy Red believe that she could actually make it not showing her body, not being a degenerate, not promoting sex and degradation? Where would she get that from? When the person who was a pillar of the community, MLK, the person that we supposed to look up to, told her that she couldn't. MLK told an entire generation of black folks that they could not succeed without the government. that no matter what they did, they wouldn't succeed unless the government got involved. So this picture is not disrespectful to MLK. It's actually prophetic, because the summation of what MLK truly did is in this picture. What MLK actually did is right here. Is that he empowered the worst of society. He put a battery in the back of the worst of society. And so now we have a bunch of sexy reds in politics, in the church, as entrepreneurs, in the school system, in government. We have a bunch of sexy reds in positions of power in this country. And that's all thanks to MLK. We got time for one more. We got time for one more, maybe. I'm going to say that video. Since we're talking about the weak, let's get on the weak black man real quick. Let me get on the weak black man. Oh, you know what? Let me go back. I got 2 more videos. I'm sorry, I got 2 more videos. Let me go right
You think I need to hear most from you, and why?
I think you need to hear that you are worthy, that you are loving, that you are deserving, that you are human, that you are trying, that you are a man, whatever that may be for you, that you are healing, you are growing, you are not your past, you are not your parents, you are not what society puts on you. You are not a stereotype. You can love. Your journey is purposeful. I think you need to hear those things because even though we're not together, I know I assume your spaces are not as safe as what we were allowed to create in our relationship. So I think you needed those words of affirmation. You needed a reminder.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And everything she said is the reason they're not together. Because who this man is it goes against a woman's nature. For a man to be soft and weak, it goes against the woman's nature. So even if she was with him, she's probably cheating with a more alpha type guy. And I guarantee the guy that she's with now, if she's with a guy, is nothing like this guy. I know he's not. No woman respects a weak man. I don't care how many affirmations she gives you. If a woman talked to me like this and I was married to her, I would divorce her. If I was dating her, I would stop. Like, I wouldn't deal with her. For a woman to view him like this, she believes that he's weak. To even think I need some affirmation, she thinks I'm weak. She should be coming to you saying, baby, we need to move this mountain. She should be coming to you like you are literal God in the flesh. I'm not trying to be sacrilegious or I'm not trying to blaspheme, but I'm saying that she should have that much respect and confidence and admiration in you to believe that you could make a miracle happen. But to believe you need a safe space, need to be loved and nurtured, she thinks you're weak. She thinks you're weak and soft. Tierra said, look at his hat. Rooted in love. I'll play it again.
I need to hear most from you, and why?
I think you need to hear that you are worthy, that you are loving, that you are deserving, that you are human, that you are trying, that you are a man, whatever that may be for you, that you are healing, you are growing, you are not your past, you are not your parents, you are not what society puts on you, you are not a stereotype. You can love. Your journey is purposeful. I think you need to hear those things because even though we're not together, I know I assume your spaces are not as safe as what we were allowed to create in our relationship. So I think you needed those words of affirmation. You needed a reminder.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's disgusting. Fellas, if a woman talks to you like this, she doesn't respect you. Your woman should be looking at you like you literally have the power of God on this earth. Literally. If a woman, your woman should be looking at you with so much reverence and respect to where she would never even assume that you didn't feel safe. That you didn't like, this is like, this woman said you're not a stereotype. Yes, you are. You like the majority of black men out there weak. It's disgusting. I will tell any man right now, if a woman does not respect you, she cannot love you. The Bible instructs for the man to love the woman like Christ loved the church, and for the woman to respect the man. Because if a woman respects the man, there are certain things she's just not going to do. A woman can say she love you and go cheat on you tomorrow. But if she respects you, she's not going to cheat on you. She ain't going to talk crazy to you. That's why for a man, respect is better than love. Because respect comes with order. Respect comes with boundaries. Respect comes with parameters. Respect comes with stipulations. Respect comes with you being in pocket. If a woman does not respect you, she cannot love you. And I wouldn't tell any man to get with a woman who doesn't respect him. And I would also tell a woman, don't get with a man you can't respect. If you cannot respect a man, you will never be able to get respect for him. Ever. So don't do it. Don't do it. And a real man is not going to negotiate with you. A real man is not going to negotiate with you. He's not going to do it. Because he knows what's best for the family. The man creates it and the woman nurtures it. But the man got to create it. The man got to build it. He got to set the perimeter around it. He got to make sure the provisions are there. Then the woman makes it a happy place, a nurturing place. But the man got to set the standard. This dude is sitting in this chair, emasculated. I guarantee the guy she's messing with is nothing like this guy.
You think I need to hear most from you, and why?
I think you need to hear that you are worthy, that you are loving, that you are deserving, that you are human, that you are trying, that you are a man, whatever that may be for you, that you are.
That you are a man, whatever that may be for you. Think about this. Think about a woman telling you, you're a man, whatever that is for you, which means the standard of manhood that she has, it ain't what she's putting on him. Because she would have never said that. Matter of fact, she would have never left. They would have never broke up. She would have fought for it. Whatever that means for you.
You are healing. You are growing. You are not your past. You are not your parents. You are not what society puts on you. You are not a stereotype.
You are not what society puts on you. Can someone please enlighten me? What does society say about Black people? Point to me where I can find something negative in society being said about Black people. It's not in movies. It's not on television. So where is it? It's not in politics, not in government. Where is this entity in society that is saying something negative about Black men or Black people in general? Where is it? Show it to me. Point it to me. Point me to the news network that's doing it. Point me to the business that's doing it. Point me to the school that's doing it. There is nowhere in society where any entity talks negatively about Black people. It is a bold-faced lie. And the fact that she said it to him, they both some bliggities. They both foolish. But I guarantee in their relationship, she ran the household. Guarantee it.
You can love. Your journey is purposeful.
Your journey is purposeful. I almost called him an N-word. You ain't got no journey, boy. Your journey, you was in a constant loop of foolishness. Journey, you a hamster in a wheel. You a bliggity in a propaganda hamster wheel going around and around in circles. I need a safe space. I just want to feel love. I'm just tired of having to fight every day. I just want to be a man. I just want to exist. I just want to be Black in peace. Disgusting. Disgusting. It's just tough, you know? You know, I go out, I'm at my job and they're looking at me a certain way, and I go out on the street and the police are looking at me, and it's just all of this stuff just going around, man. You know, I have my hair, I have my locks in my hair, and I look a certain way, and when I carry myself, people get intimidated. It's just hard, you know? It's just hard, man. I just want to just relax. I want to just have peace, you know? I just want to be able to go out into the world and just enjoy my life, man. Why does it have to be so hard as a Black man? Why is it so hard, man? Why is it so hard for a king? I mean, don't I have God's DNA inside of me? Why isn't God's DNA working? Why is white supremacy so powerful? Why? We used to rule the earth. What happened? Why is it so much pain for me? That's how they sound. Just completely emasculated and weak and disgusting. You know, I made this hat brand rooted in love because that's where it starts. That's the foundation. It has to come from love. First, it starts with self-love. Then it starts with the love for your people. That's what rooted in love means. We're all part of the same family. That's why it's rooted in love. We're part of the same family tree. This is why Black unity is so important. Foolishness. Just utter foolishness. And then she's sitting here feeding into this nonsense, knowing good and well she drives the Sahara Desert in front of this man. Nothing about this man is turning her on. Not the fake crying, not the hat, not the look. Nothing about this man is turning her on. Nothing. You know, you have to be with a Black woman, because when you're with a Black woman, she can create a space that's safe for a Black man. You know, he can escape the world in that Black woman. That Black woman is her own separate universe. It's like the Black woman is the multiverse. You can go into her and you can escape. Her womb is the multiverse. So when I leave out of this world, I come home from work and I go to my woman, I'm in a whole different world. I become a whole different person. She is literally the universe materializing a woman. That's why I love Black women. Because of her essence, because of her strength, because of her power. I don't care about gender roles. I don't care about being in charge. I don't care about masculinity. I care about her. What does she need? Because for my own peace and sanity, I need for that Black woman to be okay so that my universe isn't closing in on me, so that my universe doesn't become a black hole. I need that Black woman to be loved and cared for and nurtured so that I can have peace. So if that means me abandoning my roles, if that means me not being in charge, then guess what? I'll take it. I'll take her over everything. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
I think you need to hear those things because even though we're not together, I know I assume your spaces are not as safe as what we were allowed to create in our relationship.
So imagine her saying, what she just said was, I know you aren't safe without me. You don't feel safe without me. Not her saying, I don't feel safe without you. She telling him, I know you don't feel safe without me. She feels safe. Now, isn't it funny that now they broke up and she feels safe, but she don't feel like he feels safe. The Black man is weak because she's talking to him.
So I think you needed those words of affirmation. Needed a reminder.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for making me feel safe again. Thank you for making me feel whole. Thank you for making me feel like a man. Why did you leave me? What am I going to do? Who's going to love me like you did? How do I get my world back? It's disgusting. It is disgusting. Any woman talking to you like this, it should offend you. It should offend you. It should offend you. Mano, 11:35. Keep your foot on their necks, Blanche. Excellent show, brother. Thank you so much, Mano. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you. Danny Shade, who is that mutant on the screen? And why does it think it deserves to breathe the same air as Chad? Danny, I don't know, but I agree with you 1,000%. Thank you so much. Like, who does he even think that he is? Thank you. So Infinite, keep speaking true. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much. So I really appreciate it. Vintage Goods Willie, the Bligs go through a lot of chick and nut chicken. Oh, my bad. The Bligs go through a lot of chicken and blunts. Well, that's a code. Listen, he said not the Bliggities. He said the Bligs. The Bligs go through a lot of chicks and blunts. Goodness. The Bligs. I'll write that down. Vintage Goods Willie. The Bligs. Woo. Hey, what's that? The game, The Sims? I'm gonna create a game called the Bligs. That is good, Vintage Goods Willie. Thank you so much. Idris Singleton. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you so much, Idris. Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you so much. Tommy Radcliffe. What happened, Hotep, to successful blacks and groups? And there are plenty of black leaders. Who is that idiot? Exactly. Who he talking about? BMO. BMO is a complete coward, cuckold of a man, just a simp, just wanting to challenge Chateau Jackson, and BMO don't know anything. He knows absolutely nothing. Tommy Radcliffe, I am an early baby boomer, and I've watched him do it as a young white man, but we could never say anything about it, especially whites. He did exactly what the lefty whites wanted him to do, socialism. Exactly, Tommy Radcliffe. And again, this notion that all white people are the same is just dumb. There are conservative whites, there are libertarian whites, and there are liberal whites. All white folks are the same. And again, black folks conveniently leave out the negative aspects of white liberalism. They leave it out. They only get mad at white conservatives. And again, many people saw the destruction of MLK, but the media was behind him. America's so racist, but the media supported MLK. How convenient. Vintage Goods Willie, how many people would want to be called marginalized unless something was in them for it? Exactly, Vintage Goods Willie. Why would you even accept the term? What self-respecting person accepts the term marginalized and oppressed? Even minority. I don't accept any of them. I am a child of God and nothing less. Diamone, what's up, Diamone? Bliggities don't fear or honor God, respect eternity, or fear hell. They embrace hell's music, its atmosphere and chaos. YOLO is the hell's doctrine. And that is 100% correct. That black folks love YOLO. You only live once, so you might as well be decadent. You might as well spread death, destruction, and damnation. Bliggities don't fear or honor God, respect eternity, or fear hell. This is true. This is black culture. They embrace hell's music, its atmosphere and chaos. YOLO is hell's doctrine. I agree 1,000%. Cruise Missile, thank you so much for the continued support. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, listen, you all. I love you all. Thank y'all for tuning in today. I didn't see Angel Wings tonight, but give Angel Wings a round of applause, even though she ain't here. Anna Goddess, Navi, and Rick Hamstein, all of them. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Give yourselves a round of applause for tonight. Listen, I love you all. And thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hope you have a blessed evening. And hope your holidays are going good too. Listen, I love you all. And I will see you all soon, probably on Monday. Y'all take care. Have a blessed evening.